Priority one's got to be more jobs for more Americans.
The American people want us to create jobs.
Create jobs.
The issue is jobs.
Creating jobs.
New jobs.
It was all about jobs.
Jobs.
New jobs.
Even more jobs.
Jobs. Jobs is an easy word to say. It's one syllable, starts with a consonant, ends with a consonant. Ah is an easy vowel sound in the middle. Very few people have trouble with B, with the B there. Jobs. 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 Easy word to say, and everyone in Washington says it a lot. But for all the saying of the word jobs, voting for things that actually make jobs is proving harder for many politicians to squeeze out of their face. The Congressional Budget Office was asked this year to look in its nonpartisan way, its just the facts ma'am way, its math only way, at policy options for creating jobs. Look at these 11 different policy options, CBO, and tell us, if we did these things, which one would create the most jobs? What would be the best? The one that came in, Ichiban numero uno, tippy-top cream of the crop, was extending unemployment benefits. And so the Senate today rejected that in favor of just saying the word jobs a lot in the hopes that those of us watching at home would mistake their frequent pronunciation of the word jobs for an actual commitment to creating them. The Congressional Budget Office is not partisan. They just do the math on proposed policies to see what their impact would be. And when they studied 11 different proposed policies for their effect on jobs numbers, the #1 most effective one was aid to the unemployed. So, splat.
I would like to formally, Madam President, ask unanimous consent that the Finance Committee be discharged from further consideration of S3981, a bill to provide for a temporary extension of unemployment insurance provisions.
Is there objection?
Madam President.
The senator from Massachusetts.
Thank you, Madam President. I object, and I have a paid-for alternative.
The objection is heard.
Because the Senate said no, unemployment benefits will begin to expire for millions of Americans in, depending on when you're watching the show, a couple of hours from now, at midnight tonight. Is this because the Senate doesn't care about the jobs numbers, or God forbid, for political reasons, they want the job numbers to be bad? Or do we take a rosier view of the world in which it's not that members of the Senate are actively wishing harm on the American people for political gain, but rather they're just fundamentally incompetent? Speaking now for the fundamentally incompetent, Congressman John Shadegg.
Would you vote for the extension of unemployment benefits right now, today, up or down, yes or no?
If they were paid for and if we extend the tax cuts. Of course, Republicans don't want to tax the job creators because that will bring revenue down.
What about the fact that unemployment benefits pumped into the economy are an immediate benefit to the economy? Immediately.
No, they're not. Unemployed people hire people? Really? I didn't know that.
Unemployed people spend money, Congressman, because they have no money.
So your answer is it's the spending of money that drives the economy, and I don't think that's right.
Unemployment checks, people don't spend that money?
No. They'll spend as little of it as they can because they'll hold on to it as long as they can.
Joining us now, a guy who knows these things, Robert Frank, economist and professor at Cornell University and author of the Economic View column at the New York Times. Professor Frank, thank you very much for being here.
My pleasure, Rachel.
I put Congressman Shadegg in the position of speaking for the ignorant on this issue, but let me ask your professional opinion. Is Congressman Shadegg right? Is there any evidence that the unemployed do not spend money that they receive as unemployment benefits?
No, it's just a bewilderingly strange position. I can't see how any intelligent human being could make that argument. And add to that the fact that the whole source of our problem right now, the reason there aren't enough jobs, is that people aren't spending enough. Businesses aren't investing because they can already produce more than people want to buy. Consumers who haven't already lost their jobs are worried they will, so they're holding on to their money. It's the long-term unemployed. These people are getting benefit levels that average less than $300 a week. That's about half what a family typically spends during a week. Every nickel that goes to them will be spent, and that's why that program ranked right at the top of the CBO list. All the money that's put into it gets pumped into the economy for additional rounds of spending. When the recipients get it, they'll spend it, and so on. No, it's one of the most effective programs we have.
Now that the Senate has failed to extend unemployment benefits, about 2 million people are going to stop getting checks by the end of next month. Should we expect to see damage to the economy as a result of that?
Oh, Without question. I mean, these are people who don't have a flow of income. They don't have jobs. This was their main source of support in many cases. Once those checks stop coming, that's money they won't have to spend. So yes, spending will go down. And again, insufficient spending levels, that's the reason we don't have people at full employment now. There's just not enough demand in the economy.
The other part of Congressman Shadeg's argument and the Republican argument more broadly right now is that what we really need right now to get the economy going, to create jobs, is not extending unemployment benefits to people who don't have jobs, but it's tax breaks for the wealthiest people in the country. What's your take on that part of the argument?
Yeah, that's an argument that's often been made. I think the claim sounds reasonable on its face. Oh, we'll give a tax cut to a high-income person. Many of them own their own businesses. With that money, they'll go out and hire new workers, and we'll get the economy going again. It sounds good, but if you just stop and think about it for a minute, it doesn't make any economic sense whatsoever. A business hires a worker if it thinks it can sell the stuff that the worker is going to produce for more than it has to pay him. In this case, they're not going to be able to sell the extra output they get from hiring an extra worker because people don't have money that they're spending to buy things. So it wouldn't matter whether the owner of the business was a billionaire or a pauper. If you can't sell what an extra worker would produce, there's no economic reason to hire that worker. So those tax cuts aren't going to do a bit of good to stimulate the economy.
Robert Frank, economist and professor at Cornell University, and somebody who speaks about these things in a way that I feel I feel like I am clued into you and can understand, even though I'm not great in economics. Thank you very much for your time and your expertise tonight.
You're very welcome.